Okay, good morning. It's day 8 on the PCT. I am in Stehekin. It's about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning. Just woke up. Trying to catch an 8 o'clock bus. I have some chores I have to do before then. And I'm in a campsite, so I'm trying to be a little bit quiet because there's other people camped around. Anyway, I've got a big climb out of the valley. It's a valley, and the smoke, I can smell the smoke from a fire that's down valley of us, but the smoke has sort of settled in overnight. It was not smoky when I went to bed last night, but it is. I can definitely smell it now. Anyway, so there's a over 20-mile climb. I think it's like 8,000 feet or something up of total elevation gain. Actually about, I think we're going from around 2,000 feet to around 7,000 feet, something like that. An actual elevation gain, but there's, up and down. So it's a big day, and I won't get on trail until like 9 o'clock at the earliest because I've got to take the bus in. The bus makes some stops. So I think I'm not going to do that full climb today. I'll knock out part of it today. Goal is maybe 15 miles. There's a number of campsites along the way. So if I can do a steady climb up of about 15 miles, that would be a good day. I've got to, I picked up a resupply package. I've got way too much food. So one of my first orders of business after I break my camp is to figure out how much food I'm actually willing to carry up that mountain. I've got a big jump to Stevens as the next resupply. I was thinking it would be 5-6 days. It might be 6-7 days. There is snow on the high passes that I'm probably going to have to use my snow gear to get through. There is a heat wave. The heat wave will melt some of the snow for sure. I don't know what it's going to look like when I get up there. But if I'm going over snow, it's like 1 mile an hour. If I'm hiking even uphill on the trail, I can do 2 miles an hour, even with a heavy pack. So the snow will make a big difference. Don't expect I'll probably hit the snow today. But the point is that it could be a 7-day stretch to get to Stevens, which means I'm probably going to carry as much food as I can carry and fit in my backpack. But even then, I'll have some extra food, so I'll be leaving some in the hiker box, I think. That's something I have to sort out. I've got a little bit of business to do with emails and such because I have Wi-Fi here available, so I might try to take care of all that before I leave. Hoping to do all that before the 8 o'clock bus. There's a later bus if I need to take it, like 11:30 or something. And then an afternoon bus, but I don't want to take the afternoon bus. I definitely want to get in one of the first 2 buses for sure, but shooting for the 8 o'clock. Okay, heading out from High Bridge is about 9:15. Looking around for the last ones, just got off the bus. Huckleberries are starting to come in. Tried a few, they're not quite ripe yet. But a few days to a week, there'll be a lot more on these.
Mountains are a little smoky from the Pioneer Fire down valley of Stehekin. Smoke was settled in the valley this morning. Looks like it's mostly cleared from the valley, but higher up, still a little bit of smoke and haze. So speaking of the Pioneer Fire, which did not close the PCT because it was far away and downwind of Stehekin and where the PCT goes through North Cascades. There apparently, and I found this out when I was in Stehekin, got a little bit of Wi-Fi. There is a closure around the town of Etna, I think Mount Etna, in Northern California. There's a fire, I think it's called the Shelley Fire. Didn't find out much about it yet. But anyway, so closure might be a temporary closure, but one of the posts I saw on Facebook said that the fire had jumped actually the PCT. The official thing I saw was that the fire had not crossed the PCT, but if it has, that probably means that they won't open it up this year if it's actually burned across the PCT, because that means that the trees on either side of the trail will at least be compromised, if not burnt or burnt down. And burnt trees are a hazard for falling and limbs snapping off and things like that. So if that holds, if that's true, that's the first PCT fire closure of the season that I know about. And I'm only getting updates every 4 or 5 days whenever I can get into town. Currently, I thought I would get from Stehekin to, my plan was to get from Stehekin to Stevens Pass in about 5 days. Doesn't look like that's going to happen because there's probably still a bunch of snow up there, so it might be even 7 or 8 days. I've got enough food for it, carrying a very heavy pack. Didn't have to give away much of my food, I just crammed it in my pack, so most of what I resupplied I still have with me. And my guess is I'm probably carrying about 45 pounds. My goal was to keep it under 35. I started with about 30 pounds. But as the food carries go up and food and water, the pack weight goes up. And I decided not to send my ice axe home from Stehekin because of the snow reports. So, climbing a long hill, a little bit of up and down, but generally up. If I can do 20 miles today, that would be about 7, almost 8,000 feet of total vertical gain, elevation gain, which would be a lot. I don't know what my record is because I wasn't tracking on the PCT in 2021, but that would be close to my record if I'm gaining 7,000 feet. That's a lot. We'll see if I can do that. It's actually not going to be a long day because I didn't get on trail till about 9:30, I think. Anyway, just thinking about the smoke. I can't smell it, but I saw it on the ridge up higher in the mountains. So we'll probably clear out today, whatever's up there. Okay, so I've been hiking along Agnes Creek for the last couple of miles as I climb this hill, this mountain. And the creek is a raging river at the moment. No doubt because of the current heat wave and all the snow melt at higher elevations. Now this heat wave is supposed to continue for at least a week. That's what I was hearing when I was in Stehekin, looking at the weather. I think Tuesday is supposed to be the hottest day, maybe the hottest day of the year so far, at least in eastern Washington on the east side of the Cascades. A little cooler on the west side. Anyway, so I remember from my 2021 hike, the most difficult river crossing was Kennedy Creek. Pretty dangerous, and I went in late July. So there was no snow melt and it was still pretty high. So looking at the map, it's about 50 miles away. 7-8 miles into my day so far. So quick calculation. If I'm doing close to 20-mile days, that's 2.5 days from here is Kennedy Creek. So call it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday night, I might be in the area. Now, generally speaking, when you've got a high river, you don't want to cross it in the afternoon or evening because the snow melt is stronger. So best to cross in the morning. So the plan right now is to fit my mileage for the next 3 days so that I arrive at Kennedy Creek probably Tuesday night if I'm doing close to 20 miles. And that would allow me to cross the creek in the morning when the water is a little, the water level is a little lower. Maybe the flow is a little less strong and might be a little easier to cross. Don't know yet if I'm going to ford, wade through. Maybe there's logs. Last time I went over some logs, but it was still pretty dicey situation. So that's the plan. Just looking ahead the next couple of days, remembering what the difficulty of the trail was in this area. Of course, before I get to Kennedy Creek, there's probably some snow to cross. And I don't know what that's going to look like yet. So taking a little lunch break by this river here, a little after 3 o'clock. Haven't crossed paths with anybody today. It seems like there's not a lot of people out. This is south of Stehekin. Started with one other PCT hiker, but he turned around. He was having some injuries, so he's going to take a day off. And another PCT hiker I met in Stehekin, she turned around, again dealing with a minor injury, and I think they're both taking like 1 or 2 Neros. They may catch up with me because they're younger and faster. So I was expecting to be hiking with them, but they weren't feeling well, so they're going into, I think, Chelan for a zero. And I think there's a couple of PCT hikers that I met in Stehekin who left last night, so they should be half a day ahead of me probably. And I don't expect to catch up with them until maybe we hit the snow. So there's a possibility I would be hiking and not seeing anybody today, other than the guy that I started off with who turned around. But we shall see. So there's not a lot of people on the trail right now. I've seen deer and a bunch of squirrels and lots of flies, a few mosquitoes, and hear lots of birds. Haven't seen a lot of birds, but I hear them, and lots of butterflies are out. So just enjoying the climb up. Okay, I do remember this river crossing from last year, or last time I was here in 21. I recognize these dead logs here that you've got to cross the river. There's a couple options. I think I crossed over before on the thicker log there. And there's a thinner one as well. Anyway, before I go over, I'm going to secure my belongings. Make sure that if I do fall, nothing slips out of my pockets and so forth. The river is not that deep, but running kind of fast. It's probably pretty cold, so I don't want to drop in. So I'm going to take my time, be careful, and put the camera down. Okay, I just crossed over on that big log. Same one I crossed last time. Not too difficult. You have to step over that smaller log. There is that one there. That's another option, but a little narrower. So anyway, not too bad. There's supposed to be a place upstream where maybe I can soak my feet. I might do that. There is a lot of water coming off that mountain. Melt is on. Well, it looks like this one's going to have to be a ford. Looks like it's ankle or calf deep, probably calf deep over there. I don't think I can rock hop it, but that's fine. Well, that was up to my knees. Pretty refreshing. Current's not too strong. Okay, it's about 8:30. Coming up Swaddle Pass. I think I just saw pika. And just getting a little bit of snow up here, not too bad. It's mostly melted off, just a little bit on trail. Got about an hour of daylight left and a couple of different possible campsites. One's about a mile ahead and the other one's about a mile and a half, 2 miles ahead. So I'll probably check out the first one, maybe continue onto the second, but I've done almost 16 miles, I think, today. Most of it uphill, almost all uphill, and a lot of bushwhacking. So you may have seen some of that where you just can't see the trail in front of your feet with all the overgrowth. Anyway, I'm gonna put the phone down, cross this old snowfield, and try to find a campsite. Okay, I made it to the first campsite, or the turnoff to it. But there's too much snow down there and I can't see the trail. And there was a comment that a week ago there was too much snow for camping. So I think I'm going to keep going to the next campsite, see if it's a little bit more clear. I've been crossing a lot of snow last hour. And it's already sunset. Probably will get dark in the next 20 minutes or so. I think the next campsite's probably 20 minutes away. It's about a mile. So if there's no snow, that's about 20 minutes. So I might be night hiking till I can find a spot. So I'm officially night hiking. That's the trail. Got lots of little patches of snow like this. Footprints of the PCT hikers who went ahead of me today. Pretty easy to follow. Just a little bit of snow on the trail. So if one of these next couple of campsites don't work out for whatever reason, I'm tempted just to cowboy camp on the trail. But of course, animals use these trails at night, and I don't want my face to get run over by a herd of elk. So maybe not. Okay, found the site that's supposed to be a tent site. There's no other tents here, and it's not snow covered, so I guess I'll make this work. I'm probably gonna have to tie down my tent stakes, weigh them down with these rocks. There was some comments in the Far Out app that this tent site attracts marmots, which I can imagine because they like to live up in these rocks. And the suggestion was to put all your food inside your tent. So I've got an Ursack. I guess I'll do that. Especially since I think I have more food than can fit in my Ursack at the moment. I'm gonna figure out how to make that work. Anyway, gotta set up the camp. It is, what time is it? It's a little after, I think it's like 10:30. I'm going to set up this tent and get into bed.